Hi guys, hello and welcome to another video. So today's video is just going to be based on the cockpit of the FN2 Type-R, a little bit about what it contains, what it does, and we might even go into why certain things are helpful and the certain things in the cockpit that aren't too helpful. 10 years ago, when these cars were first manufactured, first brought out on the UK market, they were noted as having one of the most futuristic looking interiors and exteriors of any car that was on the road in its class at the time. Now, 10 years on, it is still one of the most space-aged looking and feeling cars on the road, in my opinion. So today's video is probably more going to be suited to those who are interested in buying an FN2 Type-R and don't yet have one and want to have a bit more of an insight as to what you look at when driving this car. Or you may even newly have had a Type-R and haven't yet had a chance to go through everything. So I'm going to walk through it, just demonstrate a few things, and hopefully you guys find it helpful. So let's get started. Okay, so key is up into the ignition, and the first thing you'll notice is it's a 2-click ignition, but the key won't actually start the car. And that is because we have a engine start button. So it's not a start stop button, it's just an engine start button. I'm going to demonstrate now. So one of the first things you'll notice is the car does sound a little bit louder than your standard car, and that's because it idles just under 2000 RPM, just does a warm-up cycle just to get the engine warmer a little bit quicker, and what you'll notice is that the revs will drop. Whilst we're waiting for the revs to drop, what I'll do is I'll talk you through a little bit about what you see on that display there. So to the right of the main rev counter, what you'll see is the fuel gauge. This has a 0 to 1 unit, and in the center that is your halfway mark for your fuel. On the right hand side you've got your temperature, on the left hand side you've got your temperature gauge, and as you've noticed now, the revs have now dropped to 1,500 RPM. There's only 2 lights that stay on at this point, and that is the seatbelt light, which you will see at the top right of that display, and just to the left of that you will see the handbrake warning light, just letting you know that you've got your handbrake on. So on the display, the square display just in the center, you will see at the bottom left hand of that square, just here, you will see the outside temperature gauge. To the right of that you will see the mileage of the car, and above that is just a trip computer to count how many miles since you last reset. One of the first things I noticed when getting in the car is there is no speed display on the main display, and that is because with this being a Type-R, it is very driver focused and aims to have everything in the perfect position for driving fast, effectively and efficiently. So moving upwards, what you'll now see is the speedometer. Now when you first drive this car, it is something that takes a little bit of getting used to, but after a couple of weeks you'll notice that if you do get back into something where the speedometer is down here, you'll notice actually how helpful this is for keeping your eyes on the road. To the right of it you've got your Type-R floating almost neon in red, and to the left of it you've got a rev light. Now this goes up in lights, there's about 4 or 5 lights that climb once you're in VTEC to let you know that you will need to be changing gear soon. This is great because it stops you having to look down here if you do rely on the rev counter to see where you are revving. But not only that, if you are on track or you are going for a B-road bash, you can keep your head up and look where you're going. Now we both know that any good driver will be able to feel and hear when they need to change gear. So this isn't something that is necessary for the driver, but it's a real good touch from Honda. So now let's move downwards towards the steering wheel, but in between the speedometer and the steering wheel there's still a lot to take in. So we have your traction control, it's the VSA. So when you turn this off, you will get the warning light to let you know it's off, and tick it again and it will turn back on. You've also got a kilometers per hour gauge. If you are driving abroad, this is great, because what it will then do is when you hold it, it will turn from kilometers an hour to miles per hour. It'll let you know next to the 0 on there, because we are stationary, that it's changed. And also it will let you know by changing on that center dash there. Very nice touch. So let's get it back to miles an hour. To the left you have got your dashboard brightness. So when you push this out, it will allow you to turn the brightness up. And this is great. It's like aeroplane mode. When you are on the motorway and it is late at night, it just stops it glaring. And as you can see, where the miles of the car were, you've now got this level showing you how bright they actually are. One thing you will notice as well is the rev counter revs all the way around to 9,000 RPM. This is something again which I think Honda have done a great job of fitting in and making look really, really nice and neat. So what you will notice is when you are driving at speeds of 70 miles an hour, the rev counter on a normal car will sit a lot lower, whereas on a high revving car like the Hondas, it will sit a lot higher. And Honda, I think, have done a great job of that rev counter. It looks brilliant, looks like a nice watch. So let's move to the steering wheel and then we'll go on to the comfort controls. So on the steering wheel, what you will see is a few buttons. Now this isn't the GT model, so there is no cruise control, which on the GT models you will find in this area here. But what we do have are the controls for your radio and CD change. Next to that you've got volume, and you've also got modes which you can flick in between auxiliary, CD, radio, etc. The centre of the steering wheel we have the Type-R badge and horn, and also SRS airbag emblem. To the right of that you've got your select and reset button, which allows you to reset your trip dials, as well as your things like your miles per hour reset, and also the time that you've been in the car, which I'll show you in a minute. Those things that I just discussed, i.e. your MPG, miles per hour reset and stuff like that, all are interchangeable by this information button here. Now what I'm going to do is cycle through this whilst showing you the screen itself. So back to that center screen. At the moment we have how many miles left till we run out of fuel. You also have the duration of the time you've been in the car. We have the average miles per hour of this journey, and it does reset every time you turn the car off and back on again. This here took me a while to figure out. The two passengers, they will highlight red when they have got their seatbelts off, and when they're on they will show like that. So at the moment the seatbelts are plugged in, and this is the display that it shows. Next you do have the option to have just a blank dial, and this is my personal favourite, the MPG gauge, which digitally reads up and down almost like a vacuum gauge. So now we move up onto the comfort and driver settings. So to the left of the steering wheel we have this catch. When you flick this out, it allows you to adjust the steering wheel in many ways. We can go up, we can go down, but we can also go out towards you and back in. Again, this is a great touch that not all cars have. A lot of them do go up and down, but I think it's great from Honda that they do allow you to bring it out and back in. And I think most performance cars do have that setting, as it is important when driving fast to be comfortable. Moving to the left, we have the wing mirror heaters as well as the rear view heater. It's on and off. Great touch in the winter. And you also have your front screen heater, which allows you quick demisting, and you can also control it going up and down. You can flick the modes for the heater, and as you can see just underneath the clock there, the modes are changing. And you can also select the heat, so you've got auto. You can also change it higher, lower, off. These, I'm pretty sure most of you would have seen before. This just changed the fans from pulling the air in externally and internally. If you do want your car to warm up quicker, using the air that's already in the cabin will warm the air up quicker, so you will be warmer quicker. And this, I would say, if you want to make your car cooler in the summer, use the external fans, as they will cool the car down much quicker. Moving to the centre, as I've stated already, this is the the non-GT model, so it does just have the basic stereo. Doesn't have sat nav and stuff like that, but I will go through just the volume controls, MP3, CD, AM, FM, scan, repeat, randomize. This will help you to select the radio station a lot more accurately than using this, as this just skips from channel to channel. And then you also have your presets, which you can use there. And if you do have a multi-disc changer, you can select it from there. So another few nice touches to the cockpit of the FN2 Type-R is each model has a emblem or plaque, which just gives you a unique touch to every Type-R that came off the factory. Conveyor belt, and not only that, just makes it just feel that little bit more special driving one of these cars. So you can lock the doors internally using this. This allows nobody to get in or out of the car unless you flip that back, and that is just for safety reasons. You may be stuck in traffic, or you may be going through an area where you don't feel comfortable. You can just lock yourself in like so. Below that we have the automatic windows. You can bring them up and down singly, and it's automatic both driver side and passenger side. You can lock those windows, and you can also child lock the doors. And something now that is very common in cars these days are your electric mirrors. This makes it much easier than the old school manual ones. Now what you'll see below this is your, excuse the dirty floor in this car, you'll see your fuel cap, as well as the bonnet cap just below that as well. One thing that I did forget to mention is just on this side, again, it's something that they do have in a lot of cars, in fact pretty much all cars. This just allows you to adjust the height of your lights, just so you're not dazzling anybody. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is not a start-stop button. it is the key that you will need to stop the car. So the last thing I've just got to cover now is things like wipers, which are just on this stalk here. Downwards is to put them on, lower the faster. On intermittent, you can spread the gap as to, so that's the larger gap in between each swipe, and this is a slower gap in between each swipe. All right. If you want to spray, you just squeeze that towards you. And to the left, we have your lights as well as fog lights. So it's just a twist, side lights, full beam, bright beam, and you will get the blue there on most cars. Indicators, as you all know, unless you haven't started driving. In fact, you will know from the if you've been in a car, you'll know what indicators are. So, fog lights, it is just that light will come on, just to turn that fog light off, like so. Okay, so if you do have any other questions about the cockpit of the FN2, please do not hesitate to leave a comment and I will get back to you. Okay guys, so that consists of your cockpit tour, I suppose. I hope it's been a little bit helpful for you. Like I say, it's something that you can figure out in time, but my aim for this channel has always been to just answer any questions that I had when originally buying or owning a Type-R that may have made it a little bit more helpful for me in that buying process. If you haven't got a Type-R and want to know a bit more about them, please check out the other videos in my channel. I will be constantly uploading things related to my car, related to my Type-R, and any questions that I may have. But if you have made it this far, thank you very much guys. If you have enjoyed it, you found it helpful and educational, please hit the thumbs up, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much. Keep it stealthy.